Surprise firings, sci-fi callbacks, and a case of will they won't they that was very different in real life. Even if it looked like love on screen, things weren't always so smooth on the hit show Castle. Between 1986 and 1988, screenwriter Tom Straw got his start writing a handful of episodes of the NBC sitcom Night Court, before becoming an occasional writer on Nurse Jackie and a regular contributor on The Late Late Show with Craig Ferguson's staff in 2006. However, in 2007, Straw published his first novel, The Trigger Episode, about a Pulitzer Prize-winning photojournalist who becomes a member of the Hollywood paparazzi. 2 years later, ABC debuted the popular crime series Castle, which stars Nathan Fillion as Richard Castle, a mystery author, police consultant, and private investigator. In Castle, the title character writes a book series about private investigators Derek Storm and Nikki Heat, the latter of whom is based on Castle's in-show partner Kate Beckett, played by Stana Katic. In real life, Castle's books exist, ranging from Heat Wave in 2009 to Heat Storm in 2017. Of course, Richard Castle isn't a real author. Instead, Straw assumed writing duties under the show-inspired pen name as a way of bringing Castle's persona to life off-screen. In many ways, the character of Kate Beckett was as essential to the successes of Castle as Richard Castle himself. So after putting Nathan Fillion in the titular role, Andrew W. Marlowe and company then sought out his co-star and on-screen love interest. Marlowe told The Hollywood Reporter that Katic, along with over 120 other actresses, read with Fillion before he and the rest of the producers decided on her for the role. Marlowe added, "When Stana walked in and they started saying the words, it became more electric. We had our fingers crossed that we had captured lightning in a bottle."
I told you, I have nothing.
Did I say you could talk? Did someone give you permission to open your sorry little mouth? No!
It's hard to imagine anyone else in the role of Beckett, and Katic's on-screen chemistry with Fillion was immaculate, warm, and the heart of Castle altogether. This is especially true in the early seasons before an off-screen feud would drive a wedge between them. It's easy to predict that, had Season 9 moved forward without Katic, fans would not have reacted kindly. It's not uncommon for co-stars to also be wed. Acting partners such as David Tennant and Georgia Moffat from Doctor Who, Anna Paquin and Stephen Moyer from True Blood, as well as Alexis Bledel and Vincent Kurtheiser from Mad Men, to name a few, were all married couples in real life. In Castle, Seamus Dever and Juliana Dever, who play Detective Kevin Ryan and Jenny Ryan respectively, were able to one-up everyone else by being a married couple both on-screen and off. Their on-screen characters even have a daughter in the series named Sarah Grace, who was born after Ryan and Esposito narrowly escaped death in the Season 6 episode Under Fire. While viewers were grappling with Beckett and Castle's possible romance across all 8 seasons, the Ryans provided a long-lasting foundation of consistency throughout the series. Castle was not immune to its highs and lows, but one of the show's most consistent and brightest parts was always Jenny and Kevin's relationship with each other, and their eventual parenthood to Sarah Grace only helped to solidify their bond and make them an even more important pillar of the show. Before he became Richard Castle in 2009, Nathan Fillion won the hearts of millions in the beloved cult favorite Fox series Firefly in 2002. In the show, he played Malcolm Reynolds, a space cowboy and captain of the ship Serenity. The series has a legacy as one of the best single-season TV shows of all time, and Fillion has even revived a tongue-in-cheek version of Reynolds for 10 episodes of Netflix's Big Mouth series.
This was the role of a lifetime.
Though Castle and Firefly are very different shows, the former pays multiple tributes to the latter, as Redditors have studiously documented. In Castle's home, viewers can find Firefly props everywhere. Castle dressed as a space cowboy for Halloween one year, and catchphrases from the cult hit have been featured in episodes of Castle.
Hell of a shot, Castle.
I was aiming for his head.
Still, one of the most explicit and noticeable homages to Firefly and its beloved ship came when a spa mentioned in the series was named Serenity. This gag was capped off with a near-complete deadpan stare at the camera from the former space captain himself. While Firefly remains Fillion's most adored performance, it's Castle that made him a household name. In Castle, the show maintained a strong, consistent roster of actors and actresses throughout its 8-season run. Major characters rarely left, and supporting roles earned the space to add depth to their arcs. Still, only 3 actors were featured in all 173 episodes of Castle from 2009 to 2016. Of course, as the title character, Fillion's inclusion on that list comes as no surprise. However, supporting actors John Huertas, who plays Esposito, and Seamus Dever, who plays Detective Ryan, also appear in every episode. Though Stana Katic, Tamala Jones, Susan Sullivan, and Molly C. Quinn are all credited on 173 episodes, the actresses did not actually appear in every entry. Across its 8 years, despite the narrative's ups and downs and the show's shifting critic scores, Castle always kept its key players in the game. Castle's name is one of great distinction. Even if you're unfamiliar with the show, Fillion made his character one that avoided being pigeonholed into only the show's fandom, much like he did with Mal and Firefly. However, Castle wasn't born Richard Castle. Before he was a best-selling author or a consultant to the 12th Precinct, Castle was known as Richard Rogers, the son of actress Martha Rogers and a CIA agent known only as Jackson Hunt. While there was never a full explanation as to why he changed his name, the switch is acknowledged at least once. In the Season 3 episode He's Dead, She's Dead, Kate expresses some confusion when Castle reminds her that his middle name is Alexander, which she always thought was Edgar.
No, I changed my middle name to Edgar for Edgar Allan Poe back when I changed my last name to Castle. My given name is Richard Alexander Rogers.
When on screen together, Fillion and Caddick are two romantically involved characters who play the will they won't they card to an extreme before they get married in Season 7. Off screen, however, Fillion and Caddick could barely stand to act in scenes together. According to an exclusive Us Weekly report, an insider linked to Castle revealed that the showrunners made Fillion and Caddick attend couples counseling together. Caddick's representatives ultimately denied the allegations. After Season 8 in 2016, Caddick was not approached by production about reprising her role as Beckett. Soon after, ABC canceled the show altogether. According to an Entertainment Weekly interview in 2018, Caddick explained, "I'm actually still not clear on the thought process behind the way that it went down. It hurt and it was a harsh ending. It's unlikely that the full story will ever be revealed about what Caddick and Fillion's apparent feud entailed." But reports of Caddick crying in her trailer and a source claiming to Us Weekly that she and Fillion hated each other paint a pretty clear picture. Before creating Castle in 2009, Andrew W. Marlowe was a scriptwriter in Hollywood. He penned Air Force One starring Harrison Ford in 1997, End of Days starring Arnold Schwarzenegger in 1999, and Hollow Man starring Kevin Bacon in 2000. Air Force One was a box office smash and received a positive critical reception, while End of Days and Hollow Man both made money upon release but currently hold negative Rotten Tomatoes scores. When Marlowe made the transition to network television, Castle was his first credit, which he created, wrote, and executive produced. The show became a resounding success, consistently reaching millions of viewers every season and earning praise from critics. After Season 7 concluded in 2015, however, Marlowe exited the program, along with his wife Terry Miller, who served as a co-writer and co-producer. Following their departure, Castle struggled to maintain its fan base, and according to the audience score on Rotten Tomatoes, its 8th season was considered the worst in the series. After a subpar Season 8 that saw viewership reach an all-time low, Deadline reported that the possibility of ABC not renewing Castle for a 9th season loomed over the heads of its showrunners. According to The Hollywood Reporter, along with Stana Katic being fired from the show if it were to continue, Penny Johnson-Gerald, who plays Captain Victoria Gates, and Tamala Jones, who plays Lanny Parrish, were also not invited back for the hypothetical 9th season. Even though the show was nixed after Season 8, the way production severed ties with some of its most beloved cast members left a sour taste in viewers' mouths. Upon learning that her character would not be returning, Johnson-Gerald tweeted her sorrow, writing, "To my Castle fans around the world, as of late yesterday, I am surprised and saddened to learn that I will no longer be a part of the Castle family. Thank you all for your support and love." Jones's axing was actually announced before Season 8 ended, much to her dismay.
Because I thought, let the fans get through the season and then announce. But when it came out, I was very much aware.
There's no doubt that Katic, Johnson, Gerald, and Jones's departures would have cast a dark shadow on Season 9 had it been made. The three women were integral parts of the show, and the showrunners' decision to write out their characters before ABC canceled Castle remains a low point in the series' history. Tamala Jones' situation didn't just surprise fans, as the rest of the cast had not been informed by production that their co-stars would not be returning for Season 9 if it were to happen. Esposito actor John Huertas had signed on to return in Season 9, but did not learn of the departures of Jones, Katic, and Johnson-Gerald until it made waves on social media. The actor even confirmed it himself, announcing his shock and dismay at the news on Twitter. Despite Huertas' obvious frustrations, it's unclear whether or not the production's handling of cast firings played any role in the show's quick demise. It appears, though, that a rift between the showrunners, the network, and the cast could have been imminent had they proceeded with Season 9. Andrew W. Marlowe's departure after Season 7 draws no immediate links to the decline in quality that was seen during the final season of Castle. However, Marlowe couldn't keep his opinions locked away once the story he created took a divisive detour in Season 8. In 2016, Marlowe tweeted what appears to be his disapproval of how the final season of Castle carried on, which included Beckett electing to take a break from her relationship with Castle. The couple spends most of the final season separated, which goes against the vision Marlowe had started 7 years prior. The creator wrote on Twitter, "Heartbroken, there are no words." Though the show ends with Castle and Beckett depicted in a happily ever after scenario, according to Entertainment Weekly, producers filmed a different ending, in which the couple is still separated but in a cliffhanger that left both of their fates up in the air. Castle found itself with a cast romance drawing similarities to another procedural drama. On Fox, the show Bones featured a protagonist couple, Brennan and Booth, that was reminiscent of Castle and Beckett, due to them being crime-solving co-workers with a budding love. What Bones did that Castle failed to do was give their protagonist romance space to grow after marriage. The build-up was worth it on the former, since Brennan and Booth would marry in season 9 and have 3 more seasons to capitalize on their togetherness and become even more layered as characters than they already were. In Castle, however, Castle and Beckett's marriage was on the rocks by the series' end. This dissolution was likely in part due to Nathan Fillion and Stanek Caddick's ongoing strife behind the scenes. Beyond that, though, a show built on the back of its 2 main characters and their shared romance is unlikely to survive once those ties are severed in some way.